good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday night edition of Legend from the Past and Future Show. I am your boy Armand, and this is
Deneen. Hi, everybody.
Yes, and we also have my boy
Roger.
Retired Command Sergeant Major.
Roger.
How you guys doing today?
Regular old guy trying to make some things happen.
Exactly.
How you doing, Deneen? How was your day today?
It was so good. I mean, I love Wednesdays for a couple reasons. Simply because, first of all, it's the going down the hill for the week, because I work so hard, Armand. And then the other piece is I get to hang out with you guys. I mean, what's more fun?
That's true. What else can be said? What else can be said? How about you, Raj?
Oh man, today was good. Today was good. Yeah, I went to the gym. That's always my favorite thing, even though I wasn't supposed to, because I'm going through some medical issues. The doctor told me don't go to the gym. I didn't tell him I wasn't gonna go to the gym. I just told him I understand.
Right. Well, I mean, you went to the gym, but I mean, hopefully you didn't do as much as you normally did. So let's just say,
Actually, I added some more weight because, after 8 weeks, your body get used to whatever you're doing. So every 6 weeks, if you want gains, every 6 weeks, I change up.
This is what you need right here, right? This is what you need right here.
What? Hopefully not. But yeah,
we got a hot show tonight, man. It really warms my heart. It's election time, and we had back-to-back candidates who running for sheriff. One in PG County that we have tonight, and then of course we had Sheriff Sesker 2 weeks ago. But you know what, man, this guy, spoke to him a few times, man. It's no doubt security means a lot with him. I experienced that with him when I called his office. I'm gonna save that for when he get on, because I got some house rules for him right off the bat. But in any event, we're not gonna prolong it. We're gonna go ahead and bring him to the stage. Coming to the stage is none other than Sheriff D.B. Carr.
Good evening, everybody. How are you today?
Welcome to the show. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing me on.
And not a problem, sir. This is your night. Answer the question to the best of your ability, and don't try to hijack the show tonight, sir. Okay?
I surely won't.
Hey, but to start the show, we're gonna go back down memory lane. All right, tell everybody where you were born and raised.
Born in Washington, D.C., raised there, and also in Prince George's County in the Suitland area.
So, what are some of the things you did while growing up, and who did you look up to as being your example?
So growing up, I had a very strong foundation with my family. So my mom has always been my rock of the family, definitely has pushed me forward to always excel. My grandfather, grandmother, aunts, uncles, so we were very big in the family. They grew up in the southeast portion of Washington, D.C., right next to Eastern High School. So they were Eastern Ramblers over there in RFK. Then we moved out here to the Suitland area, right off of Silver Hill Road, Hickory Hills, and then we went over to Clinton. So they would always push me. When I was in District of Columbia in DC, played for number 14 Boys and Girls Club. And that's when I first came in contact with public safety. And it was a DC officer, Alfred Gurley, who had me on the team. And I remember playing my first year, and he used to call me Johnny. Johnny, come here, let me tell you what you need to do. And learned a lot from him, learned a lot from, all of my family, and how to, one, carry yourself, two, what is expected of you as a young man, and then being a man, and then three, wanting to make sure they fed that need to actually serve and help others.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you left high school and you went to college. What school did you go to?
University of Maryland College Park. So I actually ran track over at University of Maryland. So happened to be at the time where our program was still trying to grow and develop from the previous years in which it was always championship. Everybody knows Skeet and Nehemiah and how that championship squad always would go and win ACC. So actually ran for the University of Maryland. I ran the 1, the 2. There are little 4x4s here and there, but University of Maryland, where I majored in criminology and criminal justice.
Wow. Now, so that was your major and you ran track. Now, did you see yourself going further in track, or apparently we know what you are now, but did you vision yourself running track?
Yes, I did. And I was trying to run even after graduating school and trying to continue, wanting to try to get to the Olympics and wanting to try to qualify for a U.S. National Championship. So yes, still continued. Actually had a wonderful coach, Maurice Peoples, who is a wonderful coach. Grew up here in this area as well. But I appreciate him. But he had a few of us still training after school and still trying to do that. And I think that's when getting hurt, I said, hey, I need to find something out, because I'd actually started to try to go through grad school. So I had my master's in public administration. And I started back at University of Maryland as I started my master's program there, and then stopped when I became a deputy sheriff here in Prince George's County.
So how close were you to achieving your master's?
Oh, so I did achieve it. I went back to school while I was here on the job. I actually did it online at Norwich University and at my degree in public administration.
So you this has got to be the second. Everybody on this stage, this platform has degrees, except the founder. You have a master's. Well, moving right along. You're the 118th sheriff of PG County. Now, were there any blacks before you?
Yeah.
I am we've been around for 330 years. I am the 4th African-American sheriff here for Prince George's County.
Well, congratulations.
Al Black was the first African-American sheriff here in Prince George's County. Following him, it was Sheriff Michael Jackson, who is now the state superintendent for the Maryland State Police. And then we had the Honorable Sheriff Melvin Hyde, in which I succeeded him, becoming the 4th African-American sheriff here in Prince George's County.
Okay, so now before I pass it over to Deneen, tell everybody why you feel you are the right choice to be re-elected sheriff of PG County.
I'm not going to say why I'm the right choice. I'm going to tell you exactly what the work we've done so far since I've been in the office, since I've been sheriff. Actually creating a professional accountability unit. Want to make sure that we're more involved with our community. If our community had any issues or problems with the service that we provide, they have now an avenue in which they can actually go directly to. Actually growing and developing our aspiring young minds, where we're in the middle schools, mentoring kids, teaching them about social issues, making sure that we're helping develop them. So currently right now, we're in 5 of the middle schools. We were in 9. We're trying to grow that and get more deputy sheriffs in those middle schools. The reason why we have 5 now is because we're offering additional programs. We do a Saturday Academy with Vision Quest. That Saturday Academy, we actually have those youth that may be going down the wrong path. We bring them and their parents, and we pay for them to actually come to the course, and we bring people here. So like a STEM workshop. We talk about financial literacy. We talk about domestic violence. We talk about so many different social issues. And in doing so, we just don't teach the kids. We have the parents there with them so that they can learn as well. Because what's the purpose of really working with our youth if you're not going to actually make sure that once they leave us for those hours, that they actually are in an environment that's going to foster or going to help promote that same thing that they learn. So we actually help, and we work with the parents as well and get them involved. So it's not a Saturday just drop off and they can go shop. No, we have them there. I am very happy to say that since I've been sheriff, we've actually created a domestic violence bureau. And in that domestic violence bureau, I also created the division for mental health, behavioral health. We started to see that there was a rise in our African American community, but really throughout the country, in dealing with mental health. People were coming from COVID. They lost loved ones. They lost jobs. People were really struggling. Not having that direct contact really did a number on a lot of our citizens. Also being behind and trying to always catch up, and what happens if you were to be sick and now you're still trying to get back on your feet. It affects you mentally. And creating this unit basically was to provide wraparound services and to try to not only serve our emergency petitions, which we are responsible for by the courts, but also then provide them with some long-term care, some information in which they could go and utilize that information instead of having to go to the courts. So I'm very proud of that. Actually brought on a clinical technician. We now currently have 2 clinical technicians here in the office of the sheriff. During my first term, we happened to lose one of our own deputy sheriffs, and it took an effect on a lot of the members here, and the need to actually have a clinical technician here to actually speak to those deputies and to our staff just about what's going on in their life, especially in public safety. We talk about serving others and always working and being there when there's an issue or problem when people call us, but who's taking care of us? And that's when we need to start to make sure that if I'm going to go out in the community and I'm going to knock on this door and talk to these people, I got to make sure that I'm okay. I got to make sure our deputy sheriffs are okay. Because if I'm going through a divorce, if I'm going through child custody issues, if I'm going through a death of a loved one, or if I have somebody who may be sick, I may not be at my best. So when I interact with that person, I may be short. I may be discourteous, and that's no excuse. Therefore, we wanted to make sure that we provide certain resources for those individuals so that they could speak to somebody, that they could get actual treatment and care. We've also brought in a program called Britannia, which is used in the federal government. It was used for our soldiers and also used, and we caught wind of it from our Pentagon police. It's a program in which they actually help balance you out. And when I say balance you out, it's a system that you put your hand on a device. It actually reads your body. I'm not going to say sensors, but it reads your responses. And it actually helps to try to stabilize that. So if you're unable to sleep because we work shift work on a consistent basis, or if you're dealing with stress and your cortisol levels are high, this is something that, hey, we can identify, and then you're able to actually talk to someone and actually be able to get rather supplements or some sort of treatment to try to balance you out. And I believe that's what we really need. And that's what our citizens are asking us, is to be our best when we actually go out into community and serve them.
So I'm gonna say this before I pass over to Deneen. First of all, welcome Silk Sims to the show, and welcome Londale Owens to the show. Sir, you have touched. This is how great this team is. They know how to pivot. All of us know how to pivot well. You hit on some areas that probably questions were waiting for you, but you're gonna see how great this team is. Starting with Deneen. Go ahead, Deneen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the information that you provided was so great. So I really appreciate you being so thorough on that. But, one of the things I just wanted to applaud you about the fact that when you said public safety, I feel like that's such a great term. I mean, when I think of sheriff office, that's not what I think about. And so I guess the question I have for that is that a term that you started highlighting? And if it is, what were they calling it before they started calling it public safety?
So I'm gonna try to take credit for that. So I'm gonna say, since I've been in office, when you hear me speak and when you hear my assistant sheriffs, and I'm trying to make sure we push it down to the deputies, that we talk about public safety. Otherwise, everybody always says law enforcement. You ask somebody what they do, I'm in law enforcement. So only thing we do is enforce laws, and we do so much more. We just don't enforce laws. You're talking about, it can be interacting with our youth. It can be dealing with our seniors, and that's another program in which we work with our seniors, and we talk about scams, and we bring dealing with some of the financial scams. We also bring them other resources throughout the county, and we go to them and actually make sure that we provide them. We actually feed them as well. So, but I always say public safety, because we have to make sure that we get away from just people viewing us as enforcing laws. The sheriff's office here in Prince George's County, yeah, with the citizens here in Prince George's County, many of them, when I came in and working, well, we didn't know we had a sheriff's office. So what do you guys do? Everybody always knows warrants, and everybody always knows serving papers and being in the courts. So I can tell you now, when you talk about those things, you know, we are running 911 calls in certain areas of Prince George's County when it comes to domestic violence. We are serving all peace and protective orders throughout the county. We are serving emergency petitions, and that is when a loved one or someone actually goes to the courts and petitions the courts to ask for relief for an individual who may be a danger to themselves or others. So we serve that. Of course, we serve the civil processing, you know, the divorce proceedings, civil lawsuits. We do child support. Of course, we deal with those individuals who are in custody as well. So when you look at all those items that I'm talking about,
public safety,
one, they're dealing with emotions, and two, everybody views them as negative. And that's one thing I want to try to change is when we talk about public safety, we can be proactive and try to solve issues and really work and make sure that our community is, one, aware of that issue, but two, understands exactly their role and what they can do to try to better that issue and make sure that it doesn't become something that the courts have to get involved. It doesn't become where you have to keep dialing 911 or going to commissioner. We got to start to be more proactive. So that's why I use the term public safety. Public safety.
I love that. I love that because it makes me feel better, and I think that is important for the culture of the sheriff department. So when people start thinking about public safety, they don't necessarily feel a negative connotation. So when I see you, all of a sudden now I'm thinking that you're a friend as opposed to a foe. So I think that, you know, I think that's a great, you know, path to be on when you're talking about, especially in PG County, because based on what I know, and I don't know a lot, but just the connotation of PG County, it's a tough place. So when people start feeling like, you know, you're for them and not against them, I think it really makes a difference. And the other question that I had was, I'm trying to understand what makes a person feel compelled to be in the public safety arena. Like what is that? What is it in you? What have you seen? What is your life been? What is it? I just want to know that.
So I'm gonna say again, it surrounds about my family. When I grew up, I never thought I'd be in uniform. Growing up, especially in this area, we pretty much shied away from law enforcement. Even though I was in the Boys and Girls Club in the District of Columbia in DC, you're talking about coming into contact with other officers. I may have known some, but then some of my interactions, whether it be through traffic or whether it be just throughout the streets. And back then we had the go-go's. So we would go to the go-go's and, you know, something happened and, you know, hey, if you happen to be in a certain area, they're going to make sure they have you sitting on the curb or they're going to ask you some questions. So I never would have thought that I would have been in law enforcement. Going through the University of Maryland, I thought I was going either to law school or either I thought I wanted to go to the federal side and go DEA. But before I wind up trying to do any of that, I said, well, let me try at the local level, get my feet wet, understand exactly what it means to be in the criminal justice field and understand exactly what it means. And I started working here at the sheriff's office and been here ever since. So you talk about what drives me, it's about that service. It's about changing it. So if I know what I went through when I was younger, why can't I change that for somebody who's now coming up? So when they interact with me, they can say, you know what? I never thought about being in law enforcement, but you seem cool. Or I look like I can talk to you. Or you seem like you can relate to me because you understand exactly what's happening in our community right now. You know the neighborhoods. You know, you go out. We did turkey drives and we did toy drives over at Forest Creek. And a lot of times when we went over to that apartment complex and we went over to, Brooks Drive and a few of the other areas in the Suitland community, people thought that, okay, well, this is going to be a dog and pony show and you had to bring. I go out there by myself. I don't have a lot of people with me. I go out there by myself, other community members, and we go out there and we service the community. You don't need to have photos. You don't need to, I don't have to have an entourage, all these deputy sheriffs there. We just need to be able to have a heart of service. And if you're going to do this job, one, you got to be about serving people and trying to make things better. Two, you have to understand that you're catching people at their worst day. So when these people curse you out, or when these people view you as an enemy, you have to then try to bring that positivity to it, and you have to try to turn and change that narrative and make sure. And three, make no mistake about it, you have to be able to handle yourself. You have to be able to communicate first, but then if all hell is breaking loose or something is going on, you need to be able to address that threat. And that's our biggest thing. So when you have gunfire or you have a critical situation, we can't run with everybody else. We have to go towards that. So you're going to have somebody who is willing to sacrifice and want to be there to try to help somebody in that time of need. So that's what drives me. And now I'm trying to make sure that I'm able to push that and try to change that narrative for public safety.
I love it. I love that. I love it. I'm going to let
relationship with our Prince George's County Police. Chief Nader is doing a wonderful job. And our corrections fire chief Mimi, we call her Mimi, but she does a wonderful job as well. So I'm really happy to really work with this public safety team to make sure that we change that narrative that people look at us to say, well, it takes too long for you to get here. Well, y'all not doing this, to try to address some of those issues to try to make it better. We know we're not perfect, but we know we have a lot of work to do. But the only way we can do it is to have those upfront conversations.
I love that. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Roger.
Oh, I thought y'all forgot I was here. Anyway, I know you on a podcast, but talk to us a little bit about your podcast. I saw that in your bio.
So we do Beyond the Badge, and it is on CTV, and it's trying to give a different viewpoint of public safety. It allows you to see exactly what we do, what we have going on in the Office of the Sheriff, in which we talk about what we're doing in the community, what we're asking our citizens to do, and how they can assist and help us. And we also bring a lot of our community leaders on to that show to talk about serious issues such as domestic violence. We bring in nonprofits to talk about the work that they're doing. So that I am very proud of. And I look forward to our next season, in which we're going to be pushing and moving forward to try to get more community folks there so they can talk about what they're doing in the community. One thing that we see is we have a lot of folks doing great things, but everybody's working in their silos. And a lot of times people may not know the great things that are happening here in Prince George's County. And I feel it's still my responsibility and my job as an elected official to make sure that we push positivity and we get that information out.
Love it.
That's great. Now, that's amazing. But you got that degree in criminology, in criminal justice. Why not be a lawyer?
So I started to work at a law firm as a paralegal as soon as I got out, just to make sure I was able to still, because I worked when I was in school. I worked in our Vsauce copy center. And when I got out and I worked at this paralegal, this law firm, when I tell you, you go to the copy machine, you got to put in your billable hours. When I tell you, you're sitting there reading and everything is just billable hours, you're documenting, you're doing stuff like that. It wasn't for me. You didn't really talk to a lot of people. You were in the office. I was in I guess you can call it a cubicle, no windows, no nothing. You're sitting there all day long and everybody's just focused on them. And it was killing me. It was eating me alive. And I'm more of a person that likes to be out, likes to communicate, likes to talk, and really wants to see, I want to see how we can try to make a difference. So I had to stop. I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't. So I only can imagine what law school and what it would be just going through that. And I commend my lawyers and like our state's attorneys and everybody else, but I'm more of a hands-on type person, I would say.
Yeah, and I understand exactly how you feel, because in the military, as you go up the ranks, they pulling you more to the admin side and away from the soldiers. When I became a command sergeant major, I love that I had the power to take care of soldiers and their families. I love that part. But I hate being away from the soldiers. And when you go down there, the first sergeant is doing his or her thing. You can't really say nothing because the first sergeant running the show. if you see something that's not right, pull the first sergeant to the side, tell them what's going on, because you've been a first sergeant and all that type stuff. But the more you get promoted, brigade, battalion, post, you more away from the soldiers. And that was the only thing. If I could have stayed a private and got sergeant major pay, I'd have stayed a private. But it was a big jump in pay. So, I had to go on and take the promotion and everything. So, yeah, I'm going to turn you over to Army.
I got to agree with my big brother, Roger. I feel the best rank in the Army was specialist. That was the best rank in the Army. Even though I did walk on water as a senior non-commissioned officer, you can't beat that. But, here's a situation for you. And this coming from this brother named Silk Sims. This was in relation to mental illness or under the influence of drugs as a first responder. So you have split reactions to different certain situations, correct? So
yes, sir.
How would that be handled if there's someone under the influence of drugs?
So you won't know exactly what type, what they're under the influence of. We are able to determine if, hey, if this is alcohol. Of course, we have tests that you can actually see if somebody is impaired through alcohol. But when you talk about marijuana and cannabis, and when you talk about some of the other, they will call them the dippers and the PCP and all of the other drugs, you never know what somebody may go through. And we're not clinical technicians, and we're not able to diagnose on scene. So you have to try to address it as best as possible. And that means you're looking at some of the signs and symptoms. One of the things that I was very happy to support is Eric's ID law, which just occurred. And that's dealing with those individuals who are actually on the spectrum as well. We have to be able to assess the situation and make sure that we're able to provide the correct service. So who is to say that this individual is under the influence of something based off of their behavior and how they're acting? Now, what are you going to do based off of their actions in which you witness? And that's where you have that specialty training, that crisis intervention training. And you're talking about trying to de-escalate a situation and trying to make it better. For those who are under the influence and may not be able to be coherent, and may not be able to express themselves, there are other actions that you can wind up taking. There's no need to rush into something and then escalate to the point to where you may have to use lethal force. There's always other options. And that's what we want to make sure that we provide our deputy sheriffs are other options. So having our behavioral health unit, we actually make sure that they go through our CIT training, which is crisis intervention training. And we also have them in a more of a softer look as far as when they interact with our citizens. And then Prince George's County has a wonderful crisis team that actually comes out as well. So we want to make sure that we try to address need depending on what we witness. And again, there's no determination on what they may be under the influence of. We're not doctors. We can't tell, what they are, and we shouldn't speculate. Only thing we need to do is make sure that individual is safe and that the community is safe. And what's the best way that we can actually engage that individual? And rushing in may not be the best way. Now, if they're in the middle of the highway, that's something completely different. Let's block off, the highway or the intersection, and then let's try to speak to them, and let's try to see what we can actually try to do to get them either to comply or de-escalate the situation.
Nice.
That's awesome. I want to welcome our classmate and big sister Avis to the show. I've read your bio, very impressive, and also researching. What did you feel your greatest accomplishment or achievement was while being the 118th sheriff of PG County?
Oh, that's a good question there. This answer may sound, I guess, weird or crazy, but when you talk about big achievements, I'm one of those who I'm always pushing, I'm always striving for perfection and always trying to make things better. So when you say the biggest achievement, I'm gonna say we've not hit the biggest achievement yet. We've not, we've done a lot, that has helped a lot of different people. We've started our own Citizens Academy in which we have our citizens actually come and understand and learn what we do. We've never had that here at the Office of the Sheriff. So that's something I'm very proud that we've done. But when you talk about the biggest achievement, we haven't hit that yet. I want to citizens to say this is an achievement that this sheriff's office or this sheriff can put in their hat. But right now, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and I want to continue to keep pushing that. That line has to continue to go because there may be people saying that we're moving in the right direction or that we're doing a great job, but there's many other people out there that may say, hey, I want to see more or that we need to do better. And I always want to make sure that we're able to try to meet that level in which our citizens ask us to do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to take a brief intermission for a commercial break. We're gonna throw something up real quick, Sheriff. So we'll be right back, and then we'll start off the second segment. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go grab my yak.
Okay. So looks like we're having a birthday cruise in 2027, August 8th through the 15th. Come and join us. We're cruising to Bermuda. We're coming out of Baltimore. So all of you guys in the DMV area, come and join us for a birthday cruise to Bermuda for 7 days, 6 days, 6 nights and 7 days. Come and join us for the birthday cruise. Our founder and his wife will be celebrating their birthday. So we look forward to you all coming. I mean, tickets are going fast, so we need you guys to just come on, commit. We'll see you then.
Hey, Deneen, we've already sold 20 cabins so far, and it's steady going up. I'm receiving phone calls every day about it, so it's looking pretty good. Now, I gotta recognize and honor our sponsors. Big shout out to Mr. and Mrs. JT Jones, the owner of J&J Realty Investment Group, LLC. Mr. Carol Hansen, the president and CEO of Image Power Incorporated. And Mr. Ivy Stokes, the CEO and co-founder.
Is the almond frozen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think he is. But you know what? So we can move on. We're just gonna wait for him to come back, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, I had so many. I got a couple things. I mean, first of all, you have so much information, so much good. I mean, so many good ideas. So the question that I have is, where are you getting all your research from to come up with all these wonderful ideas, like all these different programs that you are a part of? I mean, where are you getting all your information to let you know to fill in these gaps?
So the first part is actually being in this job 20 plus years, you start to understand what the community needs. And like I said, I'm from this community. I live here in this community. So you get to start to see what people need, what they're asking for, and then you understand the roles of the Office of the Sheriff as far as how we are in the community. And then you try to make sure that you are able to cater towards those citizens who need certain things. So as we talk about our youth, remember we were dealing with a few years ago a lot of the carjackings, and they were coming from the youth. And not only were we dealing with carjackings, remember the Kia challenge, and when everybody were taking Kias and they were using them as taxis and parking them, and people would get back in them and they were driving them. So when we talk about our youth, we want to talk about exactly what things we could do inside of the school and also outside of the school to actually try to address that. And then when we looked at domestic violence, we looked to see a lot of our families are hurting. When we look at some of these families and some of our youth, they're really going through PTSD. They've seen some things in their life that really has caused trauma to them, and they may not have identified that. And one thing I would always say, instead of suffering in silence, you want somebody to be able to speak about it. In our community, we don't like talking about our problems. We keep it to ourselves. I grew up in a house at a moment in time where, my family, boy, shut up before I give you something to cry for. We have that toughness, When you see that family that, we don't air our dirty laundry, what stays in it, what happens in this house stays in our house. Those are the type of things in which, we grew up in our African-American homes that we need to change, because it's okay if you need to talk to somebody. It's okay if you need to lean on somebody. That's what I want to make sure. So when we talk about some of the ideas and some of the things that we are doing, it's really coming from our citizens and the needs and what we see from the trends coming from the courts, because there are few categories in which Prince George's County is number one in the state, and I'm not very proud of that. When it comes to peace and protective orders, we're number one in the state. We need to get away from that. When it comes to our landlord-tenant issues, dealing with evictions and late rent notices, we're number one, and we have to be able to get away with that. The only way we're able to get away from having the highest numbers of filings in the courts is trying to be more proactive.
Yeah, no, I like that. Another question that I had was about, you really seem so humble. You seem so knowledgeable. You seem like, you are for the people and you're trying to make a difference. So the question that I have is, how are you ensuring that your staff is echoing that same mindset?
That's the battle in itself. So one thing I'm trying to model for them and really trying to push down some of these changes, the direction that we're going in. It may be a little bit different than just taking an order from the court and going out and serving it. I'm asking you to do a little bit more than that. I'm asking you to understand that this is just not a paper. This is somebody's life. This is something that somebody is going through. So when you look at a protective order, read that order, understand what this person is accusing another person of in our community of what happened or what occurred. Speak to that person who is actually accused and understand exactly, hey, we have this court documentation for you. We need to get to you. This person has basically alleged an offense, and we want to make sure that we're able to get you this information so that you can go to court and actually state, your side of the story. So, and then we're also, when we speak to these individuals, we're able to provide resources, because that's the worst thing you can do is just talk to somebody, hand them the paper, and just walk off. What type of resources? Because they don't know. So we've changed our webpage and tried to make it more interactive. We're still working on that. So trying to change a agency culture is going to take time. And of course, you always get pushback. And that's where, we do see some resistance and some pushback. But it's how we treat others and what is needed for us to do to make sure that we can be more of a positive impact in the community and not just be about self. Come in here, work 9 to 5 and get this paycheck and then go home and not worry about that. We got to get away from that. We can't do that in public safety.
No, I like that. I do like that. I guess another question that I had was about the you said something about a wraparound service. Was that regarding the youth and the parents, or what? Can you talk to that?
That's everything. So when we talk about like behavioral health, when we take these individuals to see a clinical technician or we take them to the hospital, the family has already gone to court. They've already petitioned the courts. We now serve the order. When we leave that family, the family doesn't know where else to go. That's the reason why they went to the courts, because they believed they had no other recourse or no other option. This person was a danger to themselves or others. Well, why can't we then provide them with nonprofit partners or other resources instead of going to the courts that can actually address and deal with their loved ones and maybe provide that long-term care? Because that's only a short-term fix. When we look at a lot of stuff, we have to start looking at more long-term. We have to start looking at, instead of just saying, hey, I responded to this situation, we did our part, and then now our hands are done. And then now we have to go back out to that address because something else has occurred. That means we didn't fix the problem.
Right.
When we dealt with individuals, we've had, and I keep using this example, we've had an individual that we dealt with 25 times in 3 months. That means they're not getting the service. The family shouldn't have to go back and forth to court to try to make sure that they're able to get the outcome that they want. They should be able to either have some sort of option to address this person's needs or issues.
Yeah, I had a follow-on question from Armand earlier. Earlier, Armand asked you what did he think was your most your greatest accomplishment. And so the question that I have is, what is the most concern that you have in your office right now?
So in my office right now, I'm gonna say it's really focusing on our civil section. And when I say focusing on our civil section, that is dealing with landlord tenant. We have a huge issue right now dealing with squatters. And that's people actually moving into homes, taking ownership of that.
Right.
And then you're talking about, we've seen families that have gone on vacations or people who have left the home because they had to do something else where, hey, I had a loved one, let's say in North Carolina or somewhere, who was sick. I went down there to take care of them. I come back, somebody's moved into my home. Or if I'm trying to sell my home and let's say I moved and I have a realtor, and of course they're supposed to manage that property and take care of it. But then you have people moving in these homes and actually living there. And what is your recourse? If you were to go on vacation or you were to go somewhere and somebody moved into your home, what's the first thing that you want to do?
Wow.
Pow.
And see, now we got another issue.
I'm sorry.
Now we got another issue, because when you call the police department, we have these people who are very creative that will go online, get deeds, or get agreement saying that they're renting from you, so they can go on land records and actually pull a name and say, hey, well, I'm renting from this person. This is the person who owns the home. I'm renting. Here's my lease, or here's the document saying that. We've seen in Airbnbs that people will start to do rent out an Airbnb and then not leave and say, I'm gonna stay there. So then the first thing that you get from the police department will be, this is a landlord tenant issue. You got to go to court. And that's why in Annapolis they changed quite a few laws to try to address those squatters, because it's just not here in Prince George's County. It's really throughout the country and really throughout the state, where people are actually losing revenue, or either people are wondering why somebody is in their home and they shouldn't be charged as trespassing or breaking and entering, and this because you have this squatter situation. So I am really concerned when it comes to our landlord tenant issues here in Prince George's County. We are developing, we're building, and I can tell you now, the whole agency, Prince George's County agency, we're only 393 sworn and civilian. So that's both people wearing uniforms and civilian to cover a county of 1 million. So if we don't grow our complement, and you look at when it comes to civil, I think civil has around 16 deputy sheriffs in it. 16 is not enough to cover Prince George's County when we look at all the development that's growing here. Everywhere you go, you see a new townhouse, condos, houses. So we have to start looking at, that's going to be a drain on public safety resources. Are we equipped and are we growing enough that we are making sure that from fire, from police department, from sheriffs, that we have from Homeland Security and our dispatchers, do we have enough, or are we where we need to be to address those issues or concerns that in that community that is now grown, or those new housing complexes, or making sure that that community gets the service that it needs?
Well, sounds like recruitment might be another one of your concerns, but
I only have 3 vacancies currently right now for my sworn. 3. That's it. 3.
Okay.
So I can't complain about that. Now I'm trying to grow the complement. The complement has to grow because we need more deputy sheriffs, and that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, sorry we hadn't spent much time together because the man asked like 30 questions. We already agreed was going to only answer a couple, but that's okay. But that's how they do me though. Can I press charges on them? That's how they do me. I'm gonna give you a call. We need
my hands are up. I got my hands up.
So yeah, so I want to talk about you briefly talked about your youth and senior programs. Can you go a little bit more into that in depth about those 2 programs?
Yeah, so when you look at our Aspiring Young Minds program, like I said, we're in middle school. So they're actually teaching a course, let's say like on an A day, we're getting ready to start for a new school year. So we met with the principals, the vice principals, and we wanted to make sure that we hear their concerns on what they would like to, focus on as far as the school year. And we already have a curriculum that we've developed, and we're still trying to tweak it and make sure that we stay up to date. But we also talk about a lot of social issues. So one, this is the first time that some of these middle school kids actually come into contact with public safety, to actually have that deputy sheriff in the schools, to talk with them, to basically really get to understand that this is a person. This is not a uniform. This is not somebody who wants to harm me. This is somebody that I could probably talk to. This is somebody who's cool, that plays basketball with us. So that is their first role, is to really be that first point of contact for that youth to understand that public safety is really here to help them. The second part of it is talking about social issues, talking about positive relationships. As you know, the sheriff's office is responsible for domestic. So when you talk about positive relationships, to be honest, we really need to get down to the elementary school kids, because when we have middle school kids, if you see some of these kids, you're talking about 6 feet, 190, 180 pounds. These kids are big in middle school now compared to where we were back then. And we also talk about social media. We didn't have all the social media. You had to go to a library or go get an encyclopedia to start to look up some of this stuff. Now, and I remember when the TV would cut off, and that flag would come on, or snow. And
that's right.
Always stay connected now. So when you want to start talking about things that kids really shouldn't be watching or really shouldn't be doing, when you look at social media and some of those other aspects, we have to be able to talk to them, because taking photos and posting stuff online, you don't understand how in middle school that can ruin your life. Being in middle school and having a bottle of alcohol up in your hand, and you throwing up signs, and you thinking it's cool right now, not understanding that as you get older, that picture is always out there. That's something that, hey, when we look at jobs and we do applications, we go back and we look at your social media, and there's ways that you can actually see. So you want to talk to kids about issues like that. You want to talk about kids about cannabis and drug usage. You want to talk about domestic violence and healthy relationships. Many of the stuff that they see with this reality TV, it's not healthy relationships, and that's what they seem to think. And when you look at the dynamic between our young men and our young women and how they carry themselves, it's apples and oranges now. Some of our young women are more aggressive than the guys, and the guys are trying to catch up. The guys don't want to look to be as suckers, so therefore they're trying to impress the girls, and now they have to up them as far as how you speak aggressively, what you do. So we're talking about a program that we try to change that. We try to talk to them about how to carry themselves, how to deal with their emotions, and not to use physical violence, to actually use your words. So these are things that we talk about in that program. When we talk about our senior program, you're talking about going and talking about some of these financial scams, because as we start talking about social media and we start talking about how the phone is everything now, with banking, our seniors don't know that. I'm not even tech savvy, and I can tell you, I still write checks. I'm not and I see we got Zelle here, and we got Apple Pay, and we got all. I'm not one for that. Because again, we've seen people who've lost money, and a lot of our times, our seniors, you send them something, they don't know. They'll click on that link, and next thing you know, somebody has access to their account. Or when somebody sends them an email, and one of the biggest scams that we have was with technology, they would actually call that senior and make it seem as if they were either a grandchild or a family member, saying either I was incarcerated or I'm hurt and I need you to send money. And we've seen our seniors, of course, they're more concerned for their loved ones, not knowing, well, what do you need me to do? And they go into the store and they're getting gift cards and making payments. They're doing cryptocurrency and making payments. Problem, so that's what, when we go to that program, and then we also get a chance to listen to them, to hear exactly what their concerns are in the community. So it's always good to get out and to be a part of our senior community, because again, that's where the wisdom, that's what we need to make sure that that knowledge is something that we cannot lose. That wisdom is something that we cannot lose, and we need to have more of it. We have a lot of our seniors actually raising their grandkids. So now, we want to talk about the programs that, that we have, so that their grandkids can understand and they can be a part of that. So, you're putting a lot on our senior community that we want to make sure that we are there to support with.
That's amazing. I gotta break real quick protocol. Avis, my cousin, thank you for your service. And I'm sorry, Deneen, my cousin, she texted me. Avis was a police officer as well. So she said, take it easy on Sister Deneen. I guess because both of them live in Georgia, they want to jump on it. But it's all good. Avis, we love Deneen. I love Deneen, Avis. I love her. Even though she thinks she's our mother, she the youngest one on here, but it's okay. And then getting back to you, your youth and senior, that's outstanding. I love that about your youth and that's the name word I'm stealing. I love that about your youth and senior programs. Need more programs out there like that. And then before I turn over to Armin, I don't have a question. I would like you to do something. Now you talked about your podcast, but I don't think you told us, maybe did and I missed it, when you air.
So it's on CTV. So with that podcast, you about to give me, don't quote me now, because we're getting ready to go into a new season. I wanted to say it was either Wednesday or Tuesday, and it aired on several time frames, a slot. So it had a morning time in which it would air and an evening time. So we're getting ready for a new season. Don't want to give you information now and it be incorrect. So I'll make sure I follow back and I actually provide that information.
Yeah, because I think that's something our audience would like to know, because you're putting out a plethora of great information. And this is really coming from the horse's mouth right here. We really appreciate you being on here. So go ahead, Brother Armin.
So, sir, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I'm going to give it back to Deneen and Rod to say something good about you, and then we're going to allow you to close us out, okay? So, my definition of leadership is having the ability to motivate someone to do something without having to tell them to do it. So, you pretty much motivated me to utilize my 22 years of Army service and to get back in the workforce as a deputy sheriff.
Oh, Lord.
What can you do to help me get that?
Woo!
Oh, so I can tell you right now, I'm glad you said that. Now, why y'all laughing at him? Look, we taking him. So it's amazing that you said that. So on our website, if you go to employment, we actually have the application for deputy sheriff. Like I said, we only had 3 vacancies right now, so we should be putting another one on the website. So if you don't see it right now, it's going to be on there. There is no age requirement. There is a physical fitness requirement, though, to run 1.5 miles push-ups and sit-ups. And because you've not gone through a law enforcement academy, you will have to go through a law enforcement academy. Okay. Recently, there had been a new law that was passed that is going to require every sheriff's office in the state to address some of the courthouse safety issues. And when I say safety issues, here in the state of Maryland, not here in Prince George's County, there was a judge who at his home was fatally wounded. So therefore, the judicial is now adding more additional security in the courthouse. So for every criminal courtroom, there will always be 2 deputies. For every civil courtroom, there will always be 1 deputy. For every 4 courtrooms, there will be 1 deputy to cover that hallway for those 4. Well, we have a large courthouse here in Prince George's County. And one thing, as we continue to grow, we are now going to be looking for those deputy sheriffs who are looking for maybe a second career and wanting to be a part of maybe being in the courthouse and helping those folks. We also have our building security, and those are the individuals who keep us safe as they go into those government buildings. That is building security, and you do not need to go through a law enforcement academy for that. We also have a lot of our civilian jobs, in which we have our warrant division, our domestic violence division, civil, that you can be a part of. And that may be more data entry. That's maybe dealing with our citizens, talking to them and trying to help them, guide them through their issues and problems. So we got something for you. All I need to know is what you want to do and how you want to serve. We'll find something for you now.
When you're ready.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Well, my sister Ava said, brother, no.
Calm down. He needs to calm down, doesn't he?
And she also said the streets are different, that I could be a reserve deputy.
Okay.
And that's what we're talking about. Those ones in the courthouse, we're going to be looking at them more as like the reserve deputies, to where you are in a controlled environment. You would be able to deal with the judges. You still be able to deal with the public in that, but you're in a more of a controlled environment in the courthouse. You will be dealing with those individuals who are in custody, but as we say, the streets are different. I'm telling you now, a lot of this is more about communication. A lot of this is about just understanding what people may be going through. When you get certain places and you talk about leadership and you talk about engaging folks, a lot of times people just want to be heard. So when you may go to somewhere and somebody may be cursing you out and they may be going off, let them get it out the system.
Yeah.
I understand this is an emotional time frame, and once you finish, okay, now let me ask you, what are you asking of us? What can we do to try to make this better? Here's what I see and here's what goes on. And then also, you don't need to raise your voice at them. You don't need to get more aggressive. You need to then start to talk more in a lower tone to then try to get them to de-escalate and to calm down. Everybody doesn't need to know your business. You don't need to yell at me. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's step over here. I want to talk to you one-on-one so we can actually try to talk about the issues and problems that you may be going through. So it's all about how we communicate and how we work with folks. That's all. You can do it. I can tell you, just looking at you, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can. And look like you still in shape. So you squared away.
See that?
You squared away.
Hey, well, you know what? Let me tell you, I tried to swim some laps the other day, and I fell short. I fell short. But in fact, I was trying to get back over there to the pool, but I'm scared.
I hear you. You're in good shape. You are in good shape.
We ain't gonna ask you to swim though, so you okay. I just need you to run. I just need you to run, do some push-ups and sit-ups. That's all we need. And both of y'all look. As a matter of fact, everybody on here looks like they in good shape.
Absolutely. We don't play those
push-ups and sit-ups easy.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all. But here's my last question, sir. Okay, Mount Oak Road, and you know where I'm going, right?
I do.
Yeah. There should be a stop sign over there. It took me to get on Mount Oak Road 20 minutes one day. 20 minutes. What do you think about it? Help me out, sir.
So I got a question for you. If they were to put a stop sign there, is that going to speed up your through that intersection for you to get through that intersection, or is going to actually cause more of a backup on that road?
That's a good question, but
I can tell you that based off of when we talked earlier, I said, you know what, let me take a look at this and let me see. And I put money on it. Depending on the time of day, depends on that backup.
Yeah,
and we have to look at the growth in that area when people are actually transitioning or them being transient, and how that roadway and the reason why is backed up.
So, sir, are you telling me no? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying like, I want to give you different options, because I can tell you if that stop sign was there, I think it would assist and help, but I think it's not going to solve that issue or problem that you think it is going to be, because now you're looking at who's traveling down that road and how many people and vehicles are traveling down that road that's actually either going to speed it up or cause the issue or problem. But I get exactly what you're saying. I think it is something that needs to be addressed. Also, what's the growth like over there? Because you guys are growing. Why you smile?
I think he's been saying public safety, and he hasn't been saying personal safety. So you want personal safety.
well, when you go through a hard workout, and you're trying to get home, all right, and one thing I know about Bowie, the courtesy is a little bit off. We got to fix that. So, by having a stop sign on Mount Oak and a stop sign on both sides, I think that would help.
So you can put it on both sides of you, huh? Is that what it is?
Both sides, yeah, both sides. Because Nottingham has one.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mount Oak, right there. Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do? Just for you, and I'm gonna follow up with you too. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the Chief Preston over there in Bowie, and I'm gonna ask him about what has he heard and what's going on. Matter of fact, I may even have to make sure I introduce y'all together. So when you have anything, you now you get it from both. You get it from the sheriff's office, you get it from Bowie City Police, you get it from everywhere.
Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. And before I give it to Deneen and close us out on you and Roger, I got to put house rules on our sister Avis. All right. You know what?
You said he's a senior moment for him.
Too funny. Thank you, Avis. That's
good
right.
job, cuz good job.
I can't let you go tonight without asking this question. How many women do you have as deputies? I mean, are the women being represented in your deputies?
I'm glad you asked that. So since I've actually been the sheriff of Prince George's County, I have actually elevated quite a few of our women. I can say that I think I am the first to ever promote and elevate a woman to the chief assistant role. As a matter of fact, I've had 2 female chief assistants, sheriffs here in the county. So I'm very proud of that. I've always had a female assistant sheriff as well. I believe in growth and development. And I believe that growth and development just doesn't mean that you can pass a test to say that you know our general orders or special SOPs, our special orders or procedures. It means that you are part of the community, that you're going out on Saturdays or weekends or evenings to these community events. You're getting to know the community one-on-one, that you are more engaged. So I think in this role of a male-driven career of public safety or law enforcement, I think now our women are starting to be in the forefront. We're seeing more African-American chiefs and more women chiefs throughout, and more women sheriffs throughout. So recently we just had the election, but Baltimore City actually, as their Democratic nominee, has an African-American woman who is now moving forward in that process to be the first African-American woman sheriff of Baltimore City. So I'm very proud to actually talk about growth of women, and we definitely elevate our women here in the office of the sheriff.
Love it. I love that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess Roger, can I have one more question?
When you start asking me, could you have one more?
I just want one more question. I gotta ask this question. Like, where do you see AI in the process, in your process, and how you're handling things?
So I see AI actually more on the administrative side. So when we're looking at putting in this stuff, and we have these different databases, I think that's something that which we need to be using AI in to then start to look for some of these trends. So if you're looking for John Carr, and I had a civil paper, and I also had a warrant, and I also had a domestic violence order, or whatever it may be, or I may be dealing with another jurisdiction, that AI needs to be able to gather all that information, and we need to be able to utilize that. So when you come into contact with John Carr, you're able to actually address all the issues and problems and needs, and not have to worry about, hey, I got to go to this database, so I need to go to this database to try to follow up. Also, I think, and you may think this is crazy, but AI also can assist us in dealing with some of the report writing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And we look at some of our body-worn cameras, because here in the state of Maryland, we are required in our contact with the public to actually have body-worn cameras. So when we look at doing reports, AI can assist and help us in doing so. Of course, it needs to be vetted, and we need to review that documentation, because whatever you put in writing, whether it be statement of charges, whether it be incident reports, it needs to be as accurate as possible. And what's on that body-worn camera needs to be the same thing that's written in that report. It shouldn't be different. So that's where I think when you look at what's said in these body-worn cameras, I think AI can assist us to then transfer that over to some of these incident reports to make sure that they're as accurate as possible.
Well, thank you so much. I got to pass you over to Roger. That's it for me. I thank you so much for all the information that you provided tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, are you passing them over? It's already 11 o'clock. The man need to go home to his family. It's all good. I just want to say, brother, thanks for coming on to the show. We really appreciate you. And it's a blessing to have someone like you looking like us doing the things that you do. You have represented us extremely well. I'm super proud of you. And Armin, we're going to pass it back to Armin. And we're going to have to get you back on the show again. That guy you was talking about that you're going to introduce Armin to, we need to get that as well.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to be giving him a call.
There you go. We appreciate it. So I know Armin and Deneen do all the questions, but you can see who really the brains are behind the thing.
We know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
That's all I'm saying. Let that go. Armin.
You know, sir, by all means, if we can get him on the show, that'd be great. And we do need to get you back.
Yes,
and I want to thank you for your transparency. I want to thank you for spending the time here with us in that big office that you had. You know, that's a very huge office.
No. This has become more of a lifestyle where I'm here. As you can see, you see the desk back there, but you also see some of the community stuff that we try to do. But this is more of a lifestyle where I'm here majority of the time, either here in the community. So,
well, I'm gonna go on record right now, sir, and say I live in PG County. You have my vote, sir. You have my vote. And from this point right here, what do you have that you can leave that's encouraging to people who are aspiring to become the next sheriff of any county? The floor is yours, sir.
So what I would say and what I would like to leave is, again, changing the narrative of public safety and actually giving it back to service and giving it back to the and making sure that we meet the needs of our community. And a lot of that goes with more engagement. It goes into being more proactive. When we look at law enforcement and you talk about all you do is just run the calls, we need to change that. Public safety is not about just running the calls and enforcing rules and laws. It is about engaging with the citizens so that the crime or that issues do not occur in the community. And also to actually invest in those who live here. We got to make sure that we invest in our youth. We got to make sure that we invest in those families, because you have somebody who never would have thought to be in law enforcement to now engage with law enforcement and to engage with those agencies. And I said law enforcement, but those agencies, and now saying, you know what, I have a heart for service, and now coming and changing that to say, you know what, I want to be part of public safety. I want to wear some sort of uniform in which I'm helping somebody, whether that be with the fire department, whether that be with the police department, whether that be with the office of the sheriff. So I want to leave a legacy of service and want to truly change that narrative when they can say Sheriff Carr was one of those who truly was in the community and truly wanted those people in the community to be part of this agency. Give the agency back to the citizens, because that's who will elect me, and that's who I answer to. So I don't deal with anybody else. I deal with the citizens. That's who I have to address, and that's who I have to make sure that I'm meeting their needs and meeting their goals.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Come back next week to another exciting show. Please don't go anywhere, sir. See you next week. Peace.